98, 99, 100. Whew, man, that was. Oh, sorry. This is embarrassing. You guys caught me working out again. I know what you're thinking, Mr. Walker. You're in great shape. You don't need to work out anymore, and that may be true. But in the previous lesson, we had heard from a friend of mine that recommended maybe running a 5K to get in an even better shape than I am. And that same friend, who might soon be an ex-friend, he also recommended that I start lifting weights as well. So I got out my heavy weights today, started lifting some weights, trying to improve my overall fitness level here. The thing is, this friend recommended that I should be lifting at least like a kilogram of weight to really, kind of bulk up my muscles here, which, I mean, I don't really think I need to, but that's besides the point. So a kilogram, I have no idea what that is. I only have heavy weights, heavier weights, and the heaviest weights, so I don't really know exactly what they're talking about. But actually, I'm glad you guys are here, because maybe we could spend some time today talking about kilograms in the same way that we talked about kilometers and meters and all that stuff, and see if there's some maybe comparisons we make, or we could figure out how much weight that I actually need to be lifting to bulk up like Arnold and get super strong. So let's dive into this today and see what we could figure out, because our learning goal for today is to be able to express metric mass measurements in terms of smaller units and model them and solve addition and subtraction problems, similar to what we did in the previous lessons with kilometers and meters and centimeters and all that kind of stuff. But now we're going to do it with kilograms. So some of you might already be making some connections to maybe help me out here and figure out how much weight, how much iron I need to be pumping. But if you aren't yet, that's okay. We're going to kind of go over it together. So you don't need much today, something to write on, something to write with. And if you're taking some notes or something like that, you might want to have that. We're going to go over some vocabulary terms, which will be good as well. So gather those things up. I'm going to clear out my weight sets here. Whew, that was heavy. And then we'll get started. All right, guys. So what better way to kick things off with this lesson and learning about how much weight I have to lift here than by going over some math vocabulary. So you know what that means.
Math vocabulary.
Awesome. So our new vocabulary that we're going to talk about today, first off, it's not written on this chart, but we're going to talk about a word called mass, okay? All right, so if we took a look at like a liter of water, some sort of liquid, not a 2 liter, a little bit smaller than that, about half of that, 1 liter would weigh about 1 kilogram, okay? So that's like a weight, okay? So a kilogram is going to be a weight, but on top of that, we could also say that it has a mass of 1 kilogram, okay? Mass is like how much space it takes up, okay? So we could kind of use those measurement of a kilogram in 2 different ways, okay? So a kilogram, more specifically, is used to measure weight or mass of an object, okay? And it is made up of 1,000 grams. Kilo, like we learned yesterday, that prefix means like times 1,000. So we're talking a kilogram is times 1,000 grams, okay? So that's a definition of a kilogram. To talk about some examples, well, we talked about one already. That's like a liter of water, okay? Some other things that might weigh a kilogram is like a pineapple, maybe like 8 apples, some small animals, even like big books like a dictionary or something like that. All of those things would weigh around a kilogram. If you need to make that equivalent or compare it to our U.S. customary units of pounds, a kilogram is about 2.2 pounds. It's just over 2 pounds. So anything you think of that weighs about that much, that also weighs a kilogram. So we can make that comparison there. All right, so I really need to bulk up lifting those kilograms there. So that's our definition in our example. Let's take a look. Since we know what a kilogram is, now let's take a look at what a gram is. So a gram is kind of like a meter in a sense. Not talking about like length or anything like that, but it's like that base unit that we can use to measure weight. So the gram is kind of like our starting point. The kilogram is bigger, it's times 1,000, okay? But our gram is like our starting point. We can go smaller as well, like we did in the previous lesson, and do like centigrams and milligrams and things like that. We're not going to worry about it so much for this particular lesson, but it is something that exists. It is a way that we can go. So a gram is like, again, our starting point for measuring weight or mass, right? And a gram is going to be a little bit smaller. It's a very small measurement of weight. So something like a paper clip or a dollar bill or something very, very light, okay, are going to weigh the same as a gram, okay? So let's just say I wanted to work out like both arms at the same time, right? And I wanted to get them the same amount of weight, and I had my 1 kilogram weight here in one hand, and let's say I didn't have another one of those, and I had to find something that was equally as heavy. Well, I would need to hold 1,000 paper clips in my other hand to match that weight, okay? It'd be the same amount of weight. It would just be like 2 different measurements. 1,000 grams here with the paper clips, or 1 kilogram here with my weight, okay? So we can kind of balance it out that way. So that's how we can make that comparison. Similar to what we did in the previous lesson working with kilometers and meters, we can make that comparison between the two. And that's what we're gonna do. So let's jump in and take a look at some of this and see what we can figure out. All right, we already kind of talked about this a little bit, but let's just review. And if you want to sketch this chart out somewhere, please feel free to do so. But let's look at this. 1 kilogram is going to be the same as 1,000 grams, right? Like we said, if I had that weight that weighed 1 kilogram, and let's say I didn't have another weight, I can get 1,000 grams to equal that. I can do the 1,000 paper clips, okay? So that's one thing. So if I had 2,000 grams, how can we work back the other way? 2,000 of those grams. Well, if we group them into groups of 1,000, we would have 2 groups of 1,000, which would give us 2 kilograms, okay? So on and so forth. We'd have 3 kilograms would be 3,000 grams, so on and so forth. Let me have you guys maybe try out the rest of this, take a look at these, fill these in, see if you can figure out what we have, and then we'll come back and talk about it. All right, awesome. So if we had 4,000 grams, that would equal 4 kilograms. 5 kilograms would equal 5,000 grams, so on and so forth. So you should have gotten very similar answers here. This is pretty much the same formula, the same way that we were able to convert between meters and kilometers and even centimeters and stuff like that. We had that formula. This is 1,000, group of 1,000. 1,000 grams makes 1 kilogram. Hopefully this is making sense and starting to click. So let's do some converting here. Let's take a look at some measurements of weight. Again, we're talking weight. That's what we measure with kilograms and grams. And let's either combine them or convert them into different measurements. So here in this example, I have 1 kilogram and 500 grams. 1 kilogram, 500 grams. How many grams is that in total? Well, I know this 1 kilogram, if I was going to convert it to grams, would be 1,000 grams, right? 1,000 grams. I already have 500 here. So 1,000 plus 500 would equal 1,500 grams, okay? Easy enough. We could do that conversion there. We know how many grams are in a kilogram. We can convert, we can add up what we already have, and there we go, piece of cake. All right, why don't you guys try this one out? We have 5 kilograms now and 30 grams. If we converted them all to grams, how many would we have? Give this a shot, and then we'll talk about it. All right, awesome. So 5 kilograms is equal to 5,000 grams. So we're converting them to grams. It's the same thing, same weight, right? The weight doesn't change. The weight doesn't change, just the way we're representing it changes. So 5 kilograms is equal to 5,000 grams plus the 30 grams that we already have there will give us 5,030 grams. Easy enough. All right, let's keep this moving. All right, so now we have one where we're adding, right? We're starting to add these weights. So let's say I had an 8 kilogram weight, all right, and then I had 8,200 grams, and I wanted to figure out in total what I had there, okay? So I want to be able to add these two weights together to figure out how heavy it is. So we have a couple different routes we could take here, right? We could either convert our kilograms to grams and then add them up that way, or we can convert our grams to kilograms and add them up that way as well. Either way would work. I'm gonna let you guys take a shot at this, see what you think, and then we'll come back and we'll go over the solutions. All right, so one way that I could work this out is I could change those kilograms into grams. All right, so those 8,000 kilograms is the same thing as 8,000 grams. So now I have 8,000 grams plus 8,200 grams, and that's going to give me 16,200 grams. And then I can kind of simplify that a little bit more by calling it 16 kilograms, right? Because that's 16,000 there. 16,000 would equal to 16 kilograms plus the 200 grams here. And we're good to go. So either one of those examples is technically correct. This one's just a little more precise a little bit like simplified a little bit more. All right, so we go there. So there's one way you could do it. You could have converted the other way. So we could have left our 8 kilograms, and we could have simplified or grouped these into kilograms as well. So it would be I can get 8 kilograms out of that, and then I would just still have 200 grams left over, which again, if we added the 8 and 8, that would give us 16, which we had previously. 16 kilograms plus 200 grams. Okay, so same way of getting there, just two different approaches. Either one would work just fine, so whatever you guys are comfortable with. All right, we're stepping things up with this next example here. We have 25 kilograms, 537 grams, plus 5 kilograms and 723 grams, right? So we have these two weights that we're adding up, and they both consist of kilograms and grams. So we're going to have to combine them in some certain ways, maybe do some converting between the measurements to make sure that we can add them. So I will say in like previous examples we've done here, there's more than one way to get to the correct answer. So I'm going to let you guys think about this one for a second. I'm going to write down some solutions, and then we'll come back, we'll talk about it, and we can see if we can find some similarities and differences in the way that we solved it. Alright guys, so as we said, there's a bunch of different strategies that we could use to solve this problem. And you guys might even have a strategy that I didn't go over, but as long as you got to the right answer, that's amazing, that's awesome. And you're comfortable with the strategy that you're using, that's great. So the first way, to me, that I saw to do this was just to simply stack up the measurements that we had, the weights that we had here. So I stacked them vertically here, and I have 25 kilograms plus 300, man, I can't say that when I get, every time it gets me backwards, 537 grams, right? 25 kilograms, 537 grams plus 5 kilograms and 723 grams. So what I did was I just added up each weight. Okay, so I went with my grams first, 537 plus 723. That gave me 1,260 grams. And then 25 kilograms plus 5 kilograms equals 30 kilograms. Now, this answer is technically not wrong, but we can get to a simplified, even more accurate answer. And I could do that by taking 1,000 of those grams out and adding it over here to the 30 kilograms that I already have. Okay, that would just kind of make it more accurate, an easier way to represent it. So this would be 31 kilograms and 260 grams. Okay, so we're just grouping things where we see that we can regroup them a little bit to kind of bundle them up a little bit tighter. So there we go. That's one way to get to the answer, and your answer should have been 31 kilograms, 260 grams. All right. Some of you might have converted one way or the other. You might have converted your 25 kilograms, 537 grams into just grams completely. So and you could have done the same thing with your other number. So here is what we did. We converted them both into grams. So now I'm adding 25,537 grams to 5,723 grams. You could add those up, and we're going to get 31,260 grams. Again, not a wrong answer. We could group those into kilograms if we wanted to, which would give us 31 kilograms, 260 grams, which is the same answer that we had previously. Again, another strategy, not right or wrong, not better or worse. It's whatever you guys feel more comfortable with. One thing I do want to point out too is when you are combining these numbers, even though there's different strategies of actually putting the numbers together, there's different ways you can like add them too. So don't forget about all those mental math strategies that you have that you could use to help you add. So here I just kind of separated it out a little bit. I did my 25 kilograms plus my 5 kilograms, gave me 30. Okay, cool with those. Then when I was adding my grams, my 537 grams, 723 grams, I kind of separated out those numbers a little bit. I took what I knew about my hundreds and being able to use like the distributive property, the break apart strategy to add these numbers up. So I thought of my 537 as a 500 and a 37, my 723, I thought of it as a 700 and a 23. Easy enough. I just separated out because to me, I can add that 500 and that 700 a little bit easier, and then that 37 and 23, they go together really easy too to make a 10. So did that. 500 plus 700 gave me my 1,200 grams, my 12,000 or 1,200 grams, and then my 37 plus 23 gave me 60, which I put those together, I get 1,260 grams. Okay, now I just have 30 kilograms. From up here, I have 1,260 grams down here. And again, I could pull out that 1,000 grams to add it over there as a kilogram, and we'd be all set. All right. So whatever strategy you used, as long as you got to the correct answer and you can explain or understand the strategy that you used, it's totally cool. All right. Your final answer though should have been 31 kilograms, 260 grams. All right. Well, awesome. You guys are rocking the addition. So let's throw in some subtraction, right? Here we have 10 kilograms minus 2 kilograms and 250 grams. A little tricky here. Take a look at this one. Break it down. See if you can apply some of your knowledge to this, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about it in just a second. Alright, so the first strategy that kind of jumps out at me here is to stack this vertically again, kind of like we did in the previous one when we were adding, only this time I'm subtracting, right? So one way we can look at it here is we have 10 kilograms minus 2 kilograms and 250 grams. Now, that causes kind of a problem because if you look, like we don't have any grams to subtract from here. So I could just write in zeros, right? 0, 0, 0 grams here, and that would help fill that gap a little bit. Some of you might have been tempted to reverse this, to put the 2 kilograms on top, because if you look at it, it has more numbers. Oh, I could subtract the 10 from that. But we can't do that for a number of reasons. But the most basic reason is that we have to put the bigger number on top, and 10 kilograms is bigger than 2 kilograms, right? So the 10 has to go on top, 2 has to go on the bottom, and then we could subtract that way. All right, so if we look at this now, we're kind of doing like a standard algorithm sort of subtraction thing here, right? But the first thing we come to is that we have 250 grams, and we're supposed to be subtracting that from 0, right? I don't have anything there. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to like regroup a little bit. We're gonna have to take from that 10 kilograms that we have and bring something over to help us out. So I'm going to knock this 10 kilograms down to 9. And I'm gonna bring a kilogram over. I'm gonna bring it over as 1,000 grams, right? So now, instead of 0 grams, I have 1,000 grams. I have 9 kilograms now. I'm down a kilogram. I just converted it into 1,000 grams. Now we can subtract, okay? And we're going to have to be subtracting across zeros, so we have to look, well, 0 minus 0, that one's good to go. 0, if I subtract 5, can't do that, so I'm going to have to regroup from the place value in front of that. I got nothing there, so I got to come all the way to this guy. And that 1,000 is going to become 10 hundreds. Right, so we could do that, but I'm actually gonna have to take from those 10 hundreds, which would knock this guy down to 9 hundreds, and which would make this guy here a 10. Perfect. Okay, so now I have 10 minus 5 would give us 5. 9 minus 2 would give us 7, and that'd be 0. So we don't need to put that there. And then 9 minus 2 here would be 7. So I would have 7 kilograms, 750 grams. All right. Awesome. So that's the first kind of way we could use it, using like the standard algorithm for subtraction. Nothing too heavy there. It's that subtracting across zeros that can get a little tricky, so you just got to pay attention. Go slow as you're moving through. Think about what you're actually regrouping from, what you're taking from each one to be able to subtract the next place value. Okay, so that's one way we could do it. Another way we could do it is kind of like we did in the previous one as well, is we could separate out those two different measurement types. Okay, so I could do my 10 kilograms minus 2, which would give me 8 kilograms, but I still have that 250 grams that I have to take care of here. So basically now I am left with let's see, 8 kilograms minus 250 grams. To do that, I'm gonna have to kind of convert again a little bit, and we can really think of these 8 kilograms as like 7 kilograms and 1,000 grams, right? Same thing, just kind of broke it apart. A 7 and a 1, but instead of 1 kilogram, I convert it into grams, which is 1,000 grams. Then we could subtract the 250 from those 1,000, which would give us 750 grams, 7 kilograms, 750 grams. That's what we had in the first one. We're good to go there. Another way you could do with this is using addition to solve subtraction, like we did in the previous examples when we were talking about kilometers and meters and stuff like that. We could start at that 2 kilograms and 250 grams and count up to get to the 10 kilograms. So that would look a little bit like, let's say we started with 2 kilograms, 250 grams. To get up to like the next kilogram, the next number here, if I added 750 grams, that would take me up to 3 kilograms. So we made like one big jump to get to 3 kilograms, right? So we have 750. That's kind of what we've done so far. Now to get to 10, right? To get to 10, I'm gonna have to jump 7 more kilograms. 7, basically plus 7 kilograms would get us to 10 kilograms. All right. So the two jumps that we made, 750 and then 7. That would be our answer there. Okay, so we can kind of think about it that way. We're kind of working our way up to that total of 10. All right, a couple different approaches there. Whew. Done a lot of practicing. I think I'll give you guys a break right after we do this one. So let's take a look at this word problem real quick. I want you guys to take a look at it, do some problem solving, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Okay, so I'll read it with you guys real quick. A suitcase cannot weigh more than 23 kilograms for a flight. All right, Robert packed his suitcase for his flight, and it weighs 18 kilograms, 705 grams. How many more grams can he add to his suitcase without going over the limit? So he wants to try to pack a few more things in there, but he doesn't want to go over that 23 kilogram weight. Would you guys take a second, sketch this one out, how you think you would solve it, and then we'll come back, we'll talk about it. All right, so here's how I kind of set things up to make sure I was seeing this right in my mind. And you know me, I like to draw pictures, right? So I drew out like a little tape diagram here. And this 23 kilograms, this is as much weight as we want to put in that suitcase. We don't want to put any more than that. All right. So far, he has 18 kilograms, 705 grams. So that's the amount of space he's already packed in here so far. All right, that's the amount of weight he has in his suitcase. We want to figure out how much more can he fit in there? How much more space does he have? How much more weight can he put into that suitcase before he reaches that limit? He really wants to get his money's worth, right? There's a couple different strategies you can use. Again, like we did in the previous problem, the one that kind of jumps out at me is like we're trying to get to that 23, right? So we could use addition to help us out. So if I look at the 18 kilograms, 705 grams, to get to 19 kilograms, I would need to add in another, let's see, 295 grams. So if I added 295 to what we already have here, well, that would give me 5 and 5 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 0, plus 9 is another 10. 7 and 2 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. Here, and then 18 plus 1 would be 19. So that would put us at 19,000 grams or 19 kilograms and 0 grams. So now I'm at 19. To get to 23, I would have to go, well, 19 to 20, 21, 22, 23. I'd have to have 4 more kilograms to get to 23. So plus 4 kilograms would give us 23. So I added on 295 grams and 4 kilograms. So really he's got 4, actually I should write it in this spot, 4 kilograms and 295 grams worth of weight left in his suitcase that he could put in there before he reaches the limit. So to me, this one kind of lends its way to that using addition to help you, because we're kind of thinking in that framework, like how much more can he put in there? You could subtract as well. You could totally subtract and use whatever strategy for subtraction makes the most sense to you. So if you wanted to set it up as your 18 kilograms, 705 grams, we would be taking that away from the 23 to try to find the difference, right? So we have 23 as our total. We already have 18. Let's find out how much is left. Again, you would have to do some like regrouping here to figure this one out. So you could just go ahead and take one of the kilograms, bring it over as 1,000 grams, and subtract through that way. Or you could just use your subtraction standard algorithm to solve it as well. Either way would work, and you should still end up with that 4 kilograms, 295 grams. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is making sense. My arms are getting a little sore from all that heavy weight lifting that I did previously, so I think I'm going to go ice them down a bit. You guys practice with this a little bit more. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, you can reach out to me, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help. Reach out to a teacher, reach out to a learning guide, whatever helps you guys out. But I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm going to go get some ice, and I'll see you next time.